It's your boy Young Love, I give him that thing. Punch all like a stand, punch it America. Punch it all, punch all like a stand, punch it America. Punch it all, walk on the lake, Kankaro, what I know watching. Oga level like gear, pow, very lake. Panda with ya, punch it America. Punch it all of a no, chingatonga pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu panda juru, what ya be. Punch America, punch it all, punch like
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you.
Thank you. Emmanuel Sunday de John, the chairman of SSUF Progressive, Abraham Madin Majak, the host and the CEO of Lake State Media, I welcome you in the name of our beloved country, South Sudan. And also, I am happy to say, good evening, Africa. Good afternoon, USA. And good morning, Australia. Likewise to Canada. Everybody is welcome to Lake State Media. We are happy to welcome our audience to Lake State Media to share the event of today. I am happy to host Emmanuel Sunday de John today, and we are inviting everybody to join us. Welcome to Lake State Media. Emmanuel Sunday de John, I am welcome you to introduce yourself to our audience and the beloved people of South Sudan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Bulmakura Chen and Brother Madid Majak and all the fraternity that is known as Lake State Media. I greet you all, and I would like to introduce myself to the viewers wherever they are. My name is Sunday de John Along, a South Sudanese, head of South Sudan United Front Progressive. I greet you all in the name of beloved country, and here we are going to share on the matters of today. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel Sunday de John, the head of SSUF Progressive, the chairman. I will give a very little chance to Lake State Media host, Abraham Madin Majak, to greet our audience, and there we will start. Abraham, unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Brother Bolmakur and Dr. Sunday John. Welcome to Lake State Media. It's good to have you again. You guys can go ahead with the show ball. I will be listening and control the comment. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Abraham, for greeting our audience. Uh, Before I continue with our exclusive interview, I will speak about uh, household. If you join Lake State Media and you want to go to the restroom, uh, uh, bring yourself down on screen, decline yourself, so you cannot uh, be seen doing what you are going to do. Our house maintenance are very few items. And also in Lake State Media, when you join us, we would like you to dress fully as we are doing here on the screen. That's one of the items, and that's it. Dear Sunday de John, I am very happy to host you today on our blessing channel, Lake State Media. I have this week I have a hard time of reading a very long article. I read it and I save it and then come back again and reread it again because it's very long. I even took 2 breaks reading that letter. I don't know how long you have been writing it. I think it took you some days. Today, I am happy to host you to ask you about some critical situations that are found in that letter. I understand that you are the chairperson of SUF Progressive, and in your recent writing, I was confused. I thought you are in Juba. Are you in Juba?
I am based in Nairobi
You based
since
in Nairobi.
2018, or rather very late 2017.
Thank you.
I am
In
not
your
in
recent,
Juba. I am in opposition, so I can't go to Juba. I don't go to Juba for the last 4 or so years.
the reason why I mentioned that is because you are accused that you are collaborating with General Akolkur to play an assassin on peoples who are in exile. And in your recent article, you talked about the misdeed of the government of South Sudan, which range from rampant corruption, lack of leadership, failed to establish viable institutions, and underdevelopment. Are these the only changes you want to happen when you take over? If not so,
Uh,
have anything among these change when Artigono was brought by when Artigono was brought IO to Juba?
Thank you very much. First of all, I opted to be in opposition in the year 2018, that is on the April of 2018, together with the like-minded South Sudanese, and among whom we chose General Malung to be our leader of the group called South Sudan United Front. And when the declaration was made during the inaugural ceremony that was launching of the South Sudan United Front, we made a significant number of points as the basis of why we can no longer tolerate the issues of South Sudan. And if I can go to those things, it will be very much retrogressive, as I will be required to retrieve every point that made us oppositions to the government of the Republic of South Sudan under Salva Kiir Mayardit and his colleagues. First and foremost, it is not only the rampant corruption that is the matter of South Sudan. I mentioned that as a matter of conclusion by exemplification. Government of the Republic of South Sudan has failed in almost all areas. There are a lot that we aspire to so that we can be able to rectify them, and that will give us a country that we have been dreaming of. First, when you look at the issues that are revolving around the conflict that has engulfed the country, not only from 2013, but even way beyond, the war is not usually started with weapons. It starts with bad words. So those are backdated to even the CPA era. And they all culminate to lack of leadership. We identify lack of leadership as one of the reasons why we should not accept the government of South Sudan, because it is not showing leadership that would make South Sudan a nation state viable enough among the nations, and that is with a happy society. So lack of leadership is one, and it is the lack of leadership that has permitted all the vices, starting from underdevelopment to the rampant corruption, to rampant insecurity, to lack of institutions, to so and so. If you can see, South Sudanese country, that is the South Sudan, has the highest mortality rate within this region and even within the sub-Saharan Africa. Our mothers and sisters, wives, and so are dying during the childbirth because the basics that are necessary for the infant mortality and also the maternal mortality, preventive measures that could have been in place are completely void. And the reason is simple. There is no established health system. People are just gambling. It is either a witch doctor or a quack and every other one that would want to call himself a doctor that sits in the Republic of South Sudan to mess up our society. That is lack of leadership. Corruption is seen, and we have been hearing from time to time, and even at the very earliest stage when President Salva Kiir wrote to 75 government officials on the loss of over $4 billion that belongs to our country. That is a permissive way of allowing the corrupt to get diluted, and that is amounting to lack of leadership. We have also seen not only corruption, there is underdevelopment. Where are the roads? There's no infrastructure. There are no roads. There are no other services, including just mere urban planning that would provide the locals with running water. We're still being served with water by the tanker drivers that at times even kill people on the roads. And we do not have the guarantee that the water they get from the Nile has been taken with a lot of caution or utmost care so that it is not contaminating the societies. And because people drink direct from the source by water that are brought to homes by Ethiopian drivers, there has been complete lack of hygiene in that aspect and sanitation, and people have suffered and died of diseases, including cholera and other simple conditions that could be prevented if we had clean running water. We do not have million things that are supposed to be done. Infrastructure, as I mentioned, and including people are insecure, and you have seen death is something that is not unusual in South Sudan. It is a new normal to our people. You can be with a brother today or sister, and tomorrow you have lost them. Regardless of whether you come from which part of the country, the whole thing is known as lack of leadership. Because if there were to be, if there was to be leadership, there would be no very good reason for the security situation to be out of hand. The government would have instituted 1, 2, 3 things to prevent the death that result from lawlessness, whether by the state agents or by the individuals that would love to take law into their own hand as a matter of maybe self-insufficiency and trying to loot others in the occasion like that. There are also a lot of other issues, including mere hatred, including land issues, land grabbing, including several other issues that are known to be the biases that ail our country today. So should I be asked to enumerate and explain why we took the decision to fight the government of Sudan, whether non-violently or violently, I would conclude that there is no cohesive nationhood that is in place, and this is a result of bad leadership. So the things that I mentioned in the said letter, the response letter, are only but the tips of the iceberg. I have never gone deeper because it would be even longer than what you read if I were to enumerate and expound on every detail that I think is the reason why South Sudan is not progressive but regressive. But the whole thing is, it is the top that is not functional, and so things have gone haywire for that reason. That is what I can say in brief from that point that you mentioned that I should expound on. We have a lot of objectives, goals, and things that we see would be done to make our country good. And above all, leadership is always guided by a law. So we do not have law, and more so we do not have respect of law. Both are there. We do not have a law that is supposed to be respected. From 2005, that we became an entity that is called Southern Sudan with a government that is autonomous from the one that is based in Khartoum, we had interim constitution. Until today, there is nothing you can quote but to say, according to the South Sudan interim constitution as amended in 2011. We have been existing from 2005 to now. If you count mathematically, that is a very long time. And constitution is not so much the hardest task that South Sudanese would undertake for over 20 years, like the War of Liberation struggle. The constitution would have been shaped so that it can make our country a good country. But we objected to that. More so, the top echelon of the leadership of our country has never accepted to even respect those basic laws that are in place. They are done selectively. They are done selectively. All in all, if we have to talk, we can talk and talk and talk until we talk, given the fact that a lot has gone wrong. Shukran.
Thank you, DR, for explaining it briefly. I will take you back a little bit. because I'm doing follow-up on your speaking. You talked about a letter that was written to those people who have actually took little money, 4 millions,
For
and was it 4 million? Correct me on that figure.
4 billions,
Four
4
billion.
point something billion dollars.
Let's give it 4.2 billion. You think so?
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned that there was a letter that was written and was sent to those groups, uh, and there's nothing done to them. If you were the president, how would you have done it?
Well, if I were to be the president, I would have not written letters. In the first place, nobody would have stolen a thing. So I would have prevented the theft in the first place. But since South Sudan was allowed, or South Sudan government officials were allowed to be free agent, they transact what they purportedly call government businesses, when truly they were only serving themselves, leading to lack of developmental projects that are being executed, and then money being channeled or shipped to overseas for self-enrichment of the individuals in place. If I were to be the leader on that particular period, I would have prevented theft by instituting laws and independent institutions, starting from the graft houses to competent courts of law, because judiciary is also the interpreter of the laws and it participates in the extreme implementation of it. So those people, had they managed to steal, despite the preventive measures in place, they would have been executed lawfully through the legal channels, and they could not have been written letters loosely as a means of persuasion. How do you persuade a thief? The thief has stolen the property that belongs to the people, to the public, and you are the public entrusted person to put them into leadership on behalf of the public to transact the businesses in the interest of the public on contractual basis, and now they could not do it accordingly. What do? You don't turn your back. You actually have to use the laws that are in place to send them behind bars and throttle them until they vomit the stolen property.
Thank you, DR, for a brief explanation of the 4.2 billion, whatever it is, because I actually couldn't say the figure very well, because I know that there was 4 billion that was pocketed in South Sudan, but we are still searching where the money went. So I will leave that point there because we have been talking about it in every show. And thank you for saying that you would have do something. Let me go back to your article. Last week, you mentioned a team in General Paul Malone camp that they had made propaganda of establishing a long list of people they purport. They are well-trained assassins sent to assassinate oppositions in East Africa. You are one of the people listed as well-trained assassin by General Akolkor. Why is that? And why is that? And you are an opposition, not with government. What is your say on this?
Taking into consideration the content of my letter, I was exactly responding to the listing. First of all, when I was born, I lived in my country, and later on when I grew up, I went to Ethiopia, And I know you were in Dima yourself. That is where I was trained with the Jesh Amir of Al-Intisar at our Jesh Amir Marcus. And I returned home later on because Ethiopia failed. And you know, we did not just return in one day. It was a very tortuous journey that made some of you lost today. And some of us found ourselves at home. But then the liberation areas did not have education. So the training that I have heard in my entire life is only twice. One in Dima as Jesh Amir of Al-Intisar. And when I went back to school, I was conditioned to go for training in a place called Gada Jawiya in Khartoum as a student. And students in Sudan are subjected to what they call Khidma Wataniya, that is national service. You must be trained as an army, and at some point before the feast, people used to go even to war for at least 2 years. When you return alive, now you can continue with the university education. When I was unhappy with the government of South Sudan, I was minding my business as somebody in the media sector and also as a medic. By the time I rebelled against the government of South Sudan.
What is Madik? Because some of your words are from, you know, what is Madik?
Madik is just a short for a medical doctor, a medical personnel. So I was here in Nairobi as somebody who is pursuing a career in the medical field. But later on, because of the injustices that have happened in the country, war is not for one person. I opted to eventually team up together with those of General Malong, among other many people that I cannot mention here. And then we became a revolt movement. That is where I have been. And from 2018 and till now, I have never gone to any training facility that would equip me with the knowledge of assassinating others. Instead, I am fighting the government. What is my association with General Akolkur? This is just an expression of fear by individuals that have no reason to rebel, but just because they hate other people. Myself, this was not the first time it was made. General Malong made a statement through the spokesperson that is now in Juba that I was associated with ACOL in one way or another. But it was them themselves that were associated with ACOL in one way or the other. And us here are, of course,
Can you tell us how they were associated?
Makwaj, the originator of this statement, who made Malong become part of it, and together with Nyamach and a team of other people, nearly 10 or 13, have all gone to Juba. They are with ACOL. They made an agreement with them. They were working with Malong, and they knew I was one of the feelers that was used by South Sudan United Front to stand firm. And to destroy SSUF, they have to use the boss that is not using his third eye to detect the crimes that are being perpetrated against one of the people that are the instruments of the organization. And so he was used to eliminate me. And after my elimination, all those people went to Juba. And when we were exchanging here and there with Gerald Malong, a group made up of one Dixon Galwak that I even brought to SAP, and the son of Malong, who is not even known whether he is opposing or is a middleman or what, it's just that other dunderhead, Prem the leaves, and they posted it on the 10th of October after we fell out, and they included my name just to justify themselves. All this they cannot substantiate. All this is just a made-up story, because when I was in SAP, what could bring Garang Malong in the affairs of the party? And he has not even declared to be one. He is not serving at any portfolio, and we cannot prevent him from sitting near his father that he always deceived with lies and gossips. All in all, they made that list. And I knew we were fighting, so they can throw anything on me. So I did not have a very good reason to respond to it because it is meaningless. First of all, if somebody has said things that are painful to the government of South Sudan, it is Sunday de John. And I have participated in building the army, and I managed to place forces in the soil of South Sudan when we were subscribing to the revolutionary actions, and that is the violent aspect of revolution. We were to have a strong military, and I participated, but it did not suffice because of the very people. So I kept myself in my camp with many of my youth, having chosen the path to continue forcing the government without Malong, because Malong is actually a regress, it's not a progress. He has no idea about what to do. He is not interested in doing 1, 2, 3 things. He sits from morning to evening and then move out right and left to loiter. What is he doing? He's doing nothing. Why would you first of all waste your time with a man who has no idea about what he is doing? His action to rebel has no foundation. It is based on personal hatred of some people and a reaction with hope that it will be too quick for him to return to the government if he tries so after he felt out on his own issues that I do not know. But we thought he was going to be a figurehead given his age and his experience during the liberation days. We didn't know he's only seeking for himself. And you could see from time to time he communicated with the office of the president. Now, who is an agent? You are a.
How do you know that and you are not with them? How do you know that
he used to communicate with? I was there. I was his spokesperson, and I was even connected to some of the people, and I refused. Those become my charges. You understand? He has talked to President Kiir, and he is the head of a rebel movement. Just ask yourself a question. You are heading an institution that is opposing the government, and you are talking to the man that you want to relinquish the position and you take over. Who is culpable? Myself or him? Number two, since we fell out in 2020, I am today in Nairobi, and the people that were surrounding him, calling me names, are today in Juba. Makwajilwal is in Juba. Nyamaj Nyang is in Juba. Commander Philip is in Juba. Cholo Duang is in Juba. Many others, Jenyang and all those, are in Juba. And those were the people who were saying, together with the current voice, that Sunday was our enemy. That is what made me, when they refuted this by trying to retract, they brought back the old list from where they posted it and then put it now in the media to circulate. And then the South Sudanese that are incapable of even diagnosing their problems took that one as reality, like it was put across by these tribal dunderheads as well, as something to be discussed. I opted to say this is a lie. I will never assassinate a South Sudanese or kill a South Sudanese. I have never done that before, and I will never do it. I am interested in seeing a South Sudan.
Hold on here. You said that you will never assassinate anybody, but you are holding an opposition chair.
Yes,
and you want presidency, and always oppositions want to assassinate so they can take the power. How are you going to do it?
Opposition is not about assassination. It is about shaping the opinion and pressing the government to change things and fighting democratically with the sitting leadership for that position. It's not a must that I should kill Kir. That is not my interest. I cannot kill you or any other South Sudanese. But I want to change South Sudan. Changing South Sudan does not mean making people die. You can change it without killing one. That is very much possible, and it is embraced worldwide. So if you are in politics, you are not a killer. That is not the interest of a politician. The interest of a politician is to get into leadership and serve the people to the satisfaction on contractual basis. That is the meaning of it. Anybody who thinks you are in opposition to kill fellow South Sudanese is not sound enough. You can only do that in self-defense, which is very rare. It is uncommon. And that is why we are hiding. Is it very difficult if you have a gun and fight with anybody that is blocking you from achieving the goal? But all in all, I have seen with my own eyes, all the opposition groups that are in arms have never come closer to Kir, even for 1 second. They only kill innocent citizens on the streets or at the peripheries of the country, as the cliques that are in power remain sleeping soundly in Juba. Now, how do you get power? By killing citizens that are innocently moving, like the nuns that were killed on Numili Highway. That is not leadership. It is warlordship. And I am not a warlord. I have never been one, and I will never be one. We can only use positive mental attitudes to educate our masses, and they will be able to change. If election comes today or tomorrow, this is the game we can participate in with open minds and adequately, but not the games that these people who are redundant, caged in their compound, incapable of planning 1, 2, 3 things, and then they feel their inadequacies originates from me, are doing. So all the things that the Malong camp, particularly 2 people, it's not the entire camp actually. Also, we have to be rational. It's not everybody that you should fight with because they are that camp. We are supposed to be rational. Malong and his son have very huge fear of a call. And this fear makes them, if I say today Bolmakur, if I go to Malong now and tell him that Bolmakur has called a call and he talked in your name, Malong will believe it. Okay? That is a fear vested in him. We don't share it. I did not rebel against an individual. I want to change the policies. Okay? I have not come to be interested in the positions of Mr. So and so. That is not it. It is the whole system. If I can manage to reboot it, that is the best I can do. And anybody that is working, see, they have been associated with a call. Ministers, so and so, any living being who has a contrary opinion is regarded that way in Malong's camp. And that is why I brought it to the attention of South Sudanese that we don't share in bloodshed. We share in good things. We were in SAP together with Malong. I have my faction, Malong has his faction. Let him operate in his own way, I operate in my own way. But they feel jealous even when I am sleeping. And then they have to wake me up with insults that are not true. You understand? All those people that are being brought on the list time and again, I don't even know them. Okay? Today they have brought that I am a team member of a team that is headed by Ting Mayai. I don't even know Ting. I have only seen his writings, but I've never seen him physically. All in all, it is Malong who knows the government of South Sudan better than all of us. He has worked with the call as his subordinate many times. I do not know what their problem is. And I have never sat down one-on-one with a call since I was born, except what I reflected in Rome, Italy, when he was seated on the other side of the table and I was seated here on a negotiation basis. And if I can recall, I've never even heard a call talking to anyone. We were there. But this fear of associating everybody with a call is going to block Malong and his camp from going anywhere. They never plan because everything is a call. I don't care. Even myself, here I am in hiding. Who are we afraid of? It is the state apparatus, it is the police, it is the national security, it is the military intelligence. All the armed wings of Kir's regime are what we fear. And that is why we are outside the country. That is why we don't go to Juba, because we will be executed like any other rebel. And here we are trying to fight ourselves and allow Kir to be in freedom. How will Malong succeed if we allow his boys, his son, and the friends to fight Sunday when there is this Kir that we are all fighting? I don't know. I cannot express more than this. These are scammers who have opened more than 5 or 6 Facebook pages, and they act as aliases. They impersonate. Okay, they impersonate. That is a crime before God and before law. I don't impersonate. I write and I put Sunday de John. Come rain, comes sun. It is me who wrote that article. And if they want, I will write more. If they think fighting with me will remove Kir, then it's okay. That is a good alternative. But if it does not remove Kir, let them think. I have even educated them on what they are not doing right. They are gossipers, so gossiping will not make them overthrow Kir. They don't plan, they don't have strategies. So sitting down and playing cards will not chase away Kir. They run this leadership as an entity of the family. Family entities do not overthrow governments. Okay? And 1, 2, 3 things, they are not doing those things right. They don't have an army, and they write they want to kill so and so tomorrow, including me. They have threatened me several times. But this country where we are in is a lawful country. They will be in trouble if they continue threatening me, because my life is what I cannot give away until when the Creator who gave it to me take it in the best way he has planned, I mean to say. So that is that point.
Thank you, Doctor. You are a citizen that will remain in opposition because you want better South Sudan, isn't it?
This is what I have expressed time and again, and that is why I am here. First of all, the opposition is...
Would you not accept government offer in the next negotiations and go back to the same government led by General Akolkor and His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit?
Well, people go to negotiation to find solutions. You don't go to negotiate with a closed mind. After all, we are South Sudanese. And it is not staying in the bush for 100 years that make you overthrow the government. It is the capabilities that you put in and the orientation that you give the citizen. When we were fighting during the liberation struggle, you are part of it. You are a Jesh Army, trained in Demo, and who participated significantly. When you went, you know very well, we have not fought until we captured Khartoum. We sat down here in Kenya and negotiated the comprehensive peace agreement. What matters is a leeway to a solution that is required. I do not rebel just because I want a position. I was not in the government of South Sudan before. I have not lost any position. If you go to all the sectors of the government of South Sudan, you will not find my name. I remain as a media personnel over time, fighting for our rights as South Sudanese generally, with my good mentor, Alfred Taban Lagune, using Khartoum Monitor and other media outlets as our weapons to liberate our people. after the guns were put down to shape the public opinion on the issues of referendum. And I landed in trouble for that reason with the Khartoum regime, which I cannot regret. If I don't fight for my people, who will do it? And therefore, we will find a solution. If it has come through negotiation, through natural process, we are here to stay and tell Kir that you are at fault. You are wrong. We need change in our country. If he listens and move away, that is a factor. If he doesn't listen and he listens through the negotiated process, it is also acceptable. I do not have absolute monopoly of violence that I will be able to overthrow the government of South Sudan tomorrow. But that is not enough to make me a bitter man. That is not enough to make me somebody who is not opposing Kir. No, I don't like his policies. I've never worked in the government of South Sudan, and therefore, I do not have to be always questioned about the position. There are people obviously known, they fought because they were corrupt and they were removed and they want to return. That is the self-renewal. And maybe because they know the sweetness of the government, so they have to be there by hooks and crook or more. So you cannot ask me whether I will accept or reject the offers. We can negotiate until we find a solution. I will accept a solution to our problem.
Thank you, DR. I want to tell you something. Long time ago, when we were in the bush, you and I and DR John Garang the Mabura, I had an interview that he made with the British Broadcasting Corporation. He was asked a question, and it was about his location, and he was asked, "Dr. John Garang, where are you now?" He said, "Why do you want to know where I am? I am under the giant tree." Why do you express where you at? Are you sure you're not putting yourself in danger?
Well, when John Garang said that one, first of all, he was in the liberated areas. And the liberated areas were subject of bombing. So the antennas plus the related military aircrafts would throw bombs to his location. Number two, South Sudan was a battlefield. Number three, Garang was not known where he was. He was moving up and down. But all of us, the opposition of South Sudan, we are known in the country that we are in the neighboring country because this is where we were exiled. See? That is where we were exiled and then disallowed from going back. And more so, it is not unwise to admit I am in Nairobi. They know it. I cannot hide. I am here to focus and share my ideas. If they would kill me for that reason, it's okay. I have opted to be here and shoulder the responsibility, including all the consequences that come with opposition. So I'm not afraid, and Garang was not afraid, but he was a military man who was tactically speaking because he was directly somewhere. If he mentioned, the antelope would come. And remember, it once happened. He learned a lesson actually. One of his cadres was interviewed in the territories of Bar Ghazal, and Garang was there. And he mentioned where he was. In less than 2 hours, the antelope was bombarding them non-stop. So Garang has learned a lesson that he had to say, I am under a big tree, and let antelope trace the big tree in the forest of South Sudan.
Thank you, DR, for such a brief explanation. In the article you published, you said that you have been accused that you are loyal or allegiance to General Akolkor, and you never speak to him except during negotiations in Rome. Was this the time
in Rome? I have not even talked to him. No.
Was this the time you break away from Malone? What about the time you became the head of What about the time you became the head of SUP Progressive? Have you not talked to him to negotiate? Because when I believe you went to Rome solely as the head of the SUP Progressive, not with Malone again. Didn't you negotiate with him?
No, in July 2021, I was in Rome, Italy, to share my views with the community of Sant'Egidio. There was no any delegation from any sector, whether from Juba or from any opposition groups. It was solely for my group. And we talked on issues that were not meant as negotiation. So you don't negotiate with a mediator. You negotiate with an interlocutor in the presence of a mediator. So I have never met
What
a
is
call.
interlocutor?
It's a protagonist, the person who is your opposite, the person that is in conflict with you. So you can be made to sit down to talk to each other. But there was none. There was no delegation from the government side. Already the talks were suspended. But as a South Sudanese who is a stakeholder that would contribute to a solution of the country, I went to Rome. And that was completely not a negotiation scenario.
Thank you, Dr. John.
As a matter, look here, you know me. I am not a person that say it and not do it, or that do it and not say it. From the time I was born to now, I've never sat down with a Kolkor or a third party on his behalf. We have never talked about anything. I am a South Sudanese like the rest.
But there were an allegations that, let me just say it nakedly, there were an allegation that a Kolkur bought you after you break away from King Paul Malone. It was said that you were bought by General Akolkur. Have you heard this news?
All the people that are called board are in Juba. And since I rebelled in 2018 up to today, I have never stepped my feet in Juba because I will not survive. I talk, I say the truth, and I can never sell myself. This is a statement of weak people.
Since you are the head of oppositions and you are holding a very important position, a chairperson of a sub-progressive, where is your army located?
I told you sub-progressive is a non-violent entity. We do not have an army. And that does not stop us from achieving the aspiration of our people. If we all make armies in our country, it is going to be a polar zone. That is promotion of warlordism. You cannot make your clansmen as your army and think you will win. An army has to be conventional and national. A rebellion is not led in the cities. I would be sitting in the bush and pursue my cause there. So don't ask the location of my troops because I have no troops.
Thank you, dear. It is good that you have dismissed the allegation, say that you are one of the assassins. What about other 35 members that were listed? Are they aware?
I don't know. I only see the list being circulated by Malone side.
But you have advised. You have advised them. How do you advise somebody that you don't know?
I advise Malone, not the people listed on the list. All those other ones are South Sudanese by name. I only know one on the list. And we have never talked since 2017. And that is Deng Chagai Matet. You know him. Is he an assassin? Assassinate who?
No.
He's
Okay.
a professional man from Australia. And you are making him an assassin today. This is just a label. It's just making
It's
people
not me
dirty.
who is making him an assassin.
Yeah, not you. Not you. It's them. This group.
It's them.
Yes.
Okay, the negotiations are coming. The negotiations are
Even
underway.
today, Garang Malong, through a third party, has written again, and he insinuated the likes of Agal Ring Machar as assassins, plus many other young people. So it is all South Sudanese that are being labeled assassins. That is stupid. It's not intelligent. It's stupid. When you are angry with me, you give me a name that you think the public will not be unhappy with me. I am a darling of the public. There is nothing I can do to anyone that Garang Malong is saying on behalf of somebody. And that is also working of people who are not intellectuals. Why is it that people are bought with money that belongs to them? The money of South Sudan belongs to all of us. And I do not see somebody who has a master key that would use that money to buy the rest, buy them and take them where? All those are manifestation of mediocrity in the camp of Malong. They will not cease saying them.
Are you one of the generation exit?
Well, I don't subscribe to generational exit. I subscribe to generational interrence. Yes, you don't eliminate people so that you have space. You join them. So we cannot kill elders in South Sudan for us to get power. And if you look at the United States of America, where you come, there are very young government officials, senators, ministers, and others that are heading certain important portfolios. But the elected president is Joe Biden, and he was elected above 70. So where do we want to take the elderly? They are part and parcel of the society. These people that sell the idea of generational exit is a moribund kind of talk. It doesn't make sense. We can share. We should be allowed. We should not be called children. We should participate in the matters of our country. That is what we called generational interrence. No generation should be blocked. We are supposed to enter. Even in our traditional life, we don't kill the elders in the society. They also have opinion, they have knowledge, they can exercise it. We only remove bad leaders. If you think you will remove all those South Sudanese and then you take South Sudan to lead, that is self-deception. It never happens like that. It is an hypothesis that if tested can fail many times.
DR, you have talked about the killing of nuns on Numli Highway. And by then, when that happened, you were in Soma. And you said that when you are an opposition, you cannot kill. Wasn't it your oppositions who did that?
Well, it was contested. I do not say it is NAS that did that one. It was done by armed people, and we do not know who they are. Because it is not only NAS that is in the bushes of South Sudan. There are several other militias, including the IO then, and even the government of South Sudan. All in all, it is an act of mob. There is lawlessness. Anybody with a gun can kill anyone and then attribute it to the opposition. I don't believe Thomas Cirillo or any of his commanders is so heartless that he can kill the servants of God. What will he gain by doing that? I don't think it was NAS, but it is contested. So the government pushed it to opposition, and the opposition pushed it to the government. And you know very well, when you are opposing somebody, that person you oppose may do something bad on your behalf and hold you responsible for it. So it became the basis of suspension of peace talks that time. And when we fell out with Malong, I made a lot of clarifications. And I told people that if hyena wants to eat its cup, it first accuses them that they smell like goats. So rampant killing on the roads is not a function of opposition. It is a function of lawlessness. And lawlessness is not all about opposition. Inside Juba, people are killed. And you know very well there are tanks everywhere. But still there is this squad called a known gunman. Is a known gunman us? Could those unknown gunmen not also act on the road?
An unknown gunman could be an unknown rebel, could be an unknown opposition. I don't know.
And that is why I am telling you, it is not us to be held responsible. It is not SOMA. It is not SAP. But SAP Malone claimed it by Dixon Galwak. He said it was their forces that kill people on the Numili highway. So what do I do? When there is somebody that is admitting it, why take it to Thomas Cirillo? What is it that Thomas Cirillo has done? And somebody has outright come out in the broad daylight saying that it is me who killed these people.
Since we are talking about Juba regime that have under development and lack of institutions and no school built, no road built, there are elections coming underway. If these elections happen to take place, are you not going to Juba to take a position and join the election?
First of all, there are several things that have not been done. As we are speaking, war is ongoing. And you cannot conduct elections when people are still fighting. That is one. Number two, there are several opposition groups that have never reached to any conclusive agreement with the government of South Sudan, including the Rome Initiative plus many others, including an organization that is called NADAFA, plus other rebel groups, or call them opposition groups. That's the right terminologies, because most of these are not very rebellious. They don't kill people, and they're not violent. They are there, and they are stakeholders in the matters of South Sudan. Now, if you ask yourself, 1/3 of our population is in the refugee camp. They have not returned to South Sudan. And most of our people from different parts of Upper Nile are displaced, either by flood, or some of them are completely still in the cantonment sites inside the United Nations protection camps or sites. Protection of the civilian, the POX inhabitants. They have not come out. Now, what would elections mean if people are not in their places? That is a factor. Factor number two, all elections that are done through registries, and there has been no census conducted. How do we know South Sudanese that will vote in that particular time and our population? The calls for elections are very formal. They are just the extension of the agreement and the voice of the West that has not studied the things on the ground. And should those elections be conducted next year, then Kir will win them. Okay? He will win them. He will contest against us in Kenya. And probably refugees do not vote in the national elections. So who will vote for the other people? It is the army plus few people that subscribe to Kir that will vote. And that would even just be the prolongation of his tenure. He can win them with a landslide. Who will challenge him? And I know the elections of 2010, they were conducted when I was in the country. Those elections were completely the whole charm. You are told to vote by others to choose for you. If it happened that time with relative fees, what will happen today when there is no fees? People don't have to lie to themselves. We have a long way to go. I don't see any elections that will be successful in our country in the next 1 year. Anybody that claims that is a liar, truly a liar.
Thank you, DR. Recently, there are a lot of development that President Kira have done. He built road, he bring Artigono, and he is now working very hard to bring you, the oppositions, into the country. Is it not a development?
Well, we need development to happen, but we have not seen one.
But he built road now. He's starting building road now, and he bring peace. And he is now working very hard to bring to send other government team to negotiate with SAP, with Soma and others. Is that not a development? Because he's working very hard to unite South Sudanese.
Again,
why would you still discredit him?
Well, several of the things that you are saying now are only for public relations purposes. Let's take it, for example, a road from Juba to Bor is a distance of 855 kilometers. From the time it was started to now, it has never reached Bor. The small part that was done and shown on the media is only to tell people there is something big done. But where is it going? The same thing with Barrel Rizal Road. It was long ago washed away by water. And Kir even talked that he was unhappy with the minister for that reason. And again, he's now in the cabinet. All in all, most of the things are not genuine. They are PR. But if they happen to be developmental agenda, yes, we will not say why construct a road. We will be happy because that is what our citizens deserve. That is what they want. We can be happy with that. And that does not mean we are happy with Kir. These things could have been done long time ago. Let him make more roads. It is not the road to Bor alone. The road to Barrel Gizal is not there. There is no road to Yei. There is no road to Kajokeji. And more so, the network of roads in Upper Nile is not in existence. So you don't have to take a picture of your door and call it development. There is no development until this hour. And on the issues of peace, the peace that was signed in Ethiopia and Khartoum, you have seen how crises are 1, 2, 3, 4 happening day and night. You've seen how they butcher themselves in Kitgwang, Maganis or Kolwat in Upper Nile recently. And that is not the only conflict. I have seen also NAS forces have been attacked around Lobanok. Is that peace? Is that making peace? It is only to avert the attention of the international community that we are negotiating, but it is not going anywhere. What is it that has been achieved? Malunga and Pagan, as one side in Naivasha, only signed what they call Declaration of Principles. Declaration of Principles, when did they discuss on real issues and what terms have they agreed on? Nothing. The same thing with the faction by Thomas Cirillo. They could not even agree on the Declaration of Principles. So this is just something that is just being made for the sake of making things. All in all, we are not tired because we cannot also dent the effort of mediators. We respect them and we can continue going. And mediators also have eyes. They can easily see who is not doing the right thing. And they can maybe judge you according to their understanding. So if you are saying he's saying peace, this is also lip service. He's saying it with his lips and is not practically being done. Peace is always a product of goodwill. It is not sitting on the other of the sides of the table. So it's not a round table sitting. It is a goodwill that makes peace. So there is no goodwill that I have seen. I've been to Rome several times and no goodwill. And even the agreement that was signed in Addis Ababa is not even with goodwill. security arrangements would have been implemented long time ago. So we are far from the truth, from what we really want. And that does not stop us from continuing. We can continue like that.
Thank you, DR. I will give a chance to my colleague, LSM host, Madin Majak, to ask some questions before I ended the show. Ibrahim Madin Majak, you are welcome.
Thank you, brother. Ball. Actually, there's one of the guy who want to ask Dr. John a question. He's here, you what, Daniel, what. Matek, come on up. Yes. Dr. Sunday, thank you for thank again for coming in Let's State Media. My question is regarding about the campaign that going on in Clubhouse. I know you are not in Clubhouse. And the thing that they are talking about, they've been for the past 2 days, they're creating a room that the topic they're talking about is the list, the question that Bol asking you about it. Your name is among of those people who accused that are agents of General Kolokor that are kidnapping people in East Africa. And you one of them. This is a very serious allegation. We tried to dispute it to having a debate with this individual, and most of them, they are not supporters. Can you elaborate it more to people of South Sudan about this? Because this is very serious.
Thank you very much. That is a very reasonable and good question. To take it, I want to make a very brief account of what I think is the biggest problem in our country. First, there are several South Sudanese who made their mind to support a certain organization, and they themselves do not know even the basic principles of that particular organization. And then whenever they see any event, it is what they address, and they do not know what they are talking about. This is completely a misdiagnosis. First of all, those people that are discussing this in Clubhouse have only gotten this list on the social media. They have not verified it. They have not subjected it to several of the tests that would make them confirm as true the list was made up of true assassins, including members of oppositions like myself. I do not know about others, but with me, I am not an assassin. There is nobody that fears me from then to now, and I have never attempted directly or secretly on anybody. Those that are saying this in Clubhouse are just victims of misinformation. They have only gotten a very wrong information and they go with it. It is just the myopia that they have been in. And this is very common with some of NAS members. It's not all the NAS members, but some of them, very minor clique. They don't analyze the truth about what has happened. They are so much repulsive to any South Sudanese that it becomes mind-boggling as to what they are truly after. If NAS is an institution, like I know from its basic document and the related statements that are issued by the leadership, it has the national outlook. But the talkers in the Clubhouse are tribal goons that are trying only to advance, that are only advancing. They are just advancing hatred. This hatred that they are advancing is not going to take South Sudanese anywhere. And any successful person is a person who has the capacity to know what is affecting him or her, so that that person can pursue the right cause of his or her suffering. But with the South Sudanese, you only fight because the rest are saying, let's fight here. You don't even ask for which reason why I should fight. The discussant in the clubhouse have gotten the list in the media, so they make it as their topic of discussion, and they do not know where it came from and the motives on why it was generated. First, they were generated by Malong's camp. And Malong camp is not a sub-office of a Kolkor. If it is so, I do not know. So the Malong camp that did that one. And in most of the cases, it is meant to target me. It is me that they target. They have done this twice before, and this one now is number 3 compared to the rest. Should some of those people, like the ones that they say work in the national security, whom I don't know, be sent to be assassins in this region, well and good, because people were abducted in Nairobi before we were not here. People were killed recently. One commander was killed recently in Uganda. If they have a point, it would be okay. But here, 90% of it is myopia. It is just a least seen, so discuss. Perfectly, you don't blame people simply because if they are filled with hatred and they do not know what they are talking about, they can say anything that comes to their minds. So to say, the people that were discussing in Clubhouse, I've seen them. They actually don't know where this list came from. They only have seen the list. And any person can throw anything. Any person can throw anything on the social media. And this has happened several times. They accuse people, including the media personnel. The likes of John Tanza have been called names. They are based in Washington, and they are called agents of a Kolkor when they are interviewing people. You yourself, in the next 1 month, 1 week, because you have interviewed me, you will see maybe your names there. And I have seen elsewhere, Bolmakur has been called names. He was called the founder of the opposition somewhere. This is a small mind. They never think big. They never go outside of their cocoons. And for your information, several organizations that are in the bush here have an agenda that is complicated and that will not be resolved until the second coming of Christ. If your agenda is hatred, nobody will remove it in you. And you will not achieve the objective of hatred. Because hatred as an instinct is not a tool for creation of harmony. And South Sudan will remain as South Sudan everlastingly. Nobody will change it, whether you like it or not. If you claim that you want to take part of South Sudan to Uganda or to Kenya or to Congo or to Central African Republic, we will refuse outright in your watch. Go alone and leave our land. We are South Sudanese. This hatred will only cease if those who hate suffer enough that they know they are suffering from their own hate, that they will turn around. Myself, I can say it blunt, in black and white. Those that are discussing in clubhouses are uninformed. They don't have the right information. They only gotten a piece of paper that is flying, and then they read it and now talk about it. They should benefit from my point. When I said this was generated by Malong Sun, I know where he first published it, on which date. If you were having enough time, I would have given you all the screenshots so that you can show the public. They were engineered just here, not far away. If government of South Sudan has sent assassins, I will be very glad, because a signal to hide myself is there. If somebody can tell me assassins are coming, I will hide myself because I'm one of the people to be assassinated. I will force this government, then these pretenders that call themselves opposition in public meetings, and when they are in their rooms, they call Kir and talk to him as brothers. are completely hypocrites. And therefore, I can say I will not prevent anybody from discussing this, but let's give it also the test of time and good research and investigation, using all the sophisticated mechanisms that are in our disposal so that we can disprove what I said. Up to today, Garang Malong is responding using somebody in Juba. You see, that is always leasing a group that is fighting inside Juba. Niall versus a call. That's the person he has chosen. And all those people do not have any connection with the oppositions. They are fighting over what they know. And here we are here. It is just like you trying to run around blaming somebody for a mistake that you know is not that person that is doing it. That is called misdiagnosis in medical terms. For example, if I have a tuberculosis and I came coughing, and you begin to say because I was coughing and associated hotness of the body, you assume I have a lung problem and you call it pneumonia without calling it a tuberculosis, you will give me medicine that are not anti-tuberculosis. You will give me maybe drugs for pneumonia, and they will not cure tuberculosis. The only thing that will happen is I will deteriorate because my problem is not being addressed. So taking those medicine is not going to take away the disease I'm suffering from, because the doctor that is diagnosing me has misdiagnosed me. This is just an analogy. To bring it to the light, if you pursue issues that are not the real issues that you are in the bush here for, then you are only deceiving yourself. You are only deceiving yourself. And the opposition of South Sudan are not brave enough to overcome Kir, because they are in hiding. They deceive themselves that Kir is coming to kill us, and they all run away and hide, and then nobody remains opposing Kir. That is exactly what gives Kir the power he has now, because you tell him that you are wrong and you are afraid as well. How can you do two things? You are fearing that person, and you are also saying that you want to face him. This is cowardice. You cannot be a coward and a fighter at the same time. Those things don't go together. These cowards that only talk about assassination in the social media every time should come out also and work so hard to remove these assassins completely. Okay? Why always cry foul when you have the right tools? Are they not South Sudanese? If they team up with the rest, if they spread right messages that are not mere with the tribal sentiments, can't we be able to change the country? But we cannot change the country. If I were to be here, Bolmakur, talking about Majung Chithiop or Tinagao or Malik or Adior every time, I need nobody to step his feet in Adior. Adior is my area. Some Nuers have come from Penijar, so they are taking it away. This is myopia, small, and it will not make South Sudan what we think it should. That is not a kind of opposition that makes sense. Opposition that makes sense except the nationalities. When John Garang and Salva Kiir, Arong Tona Rock, William Yuan Bany, plus so many other leaders, including Riek Machar and Lama Kol, were in the liberation struggle, they were all colors. Okay? It is not supposed to be heterogeneous. It has to be homogeneous. We have to see, it is not supposed to be homogeneous. It has to be exogenous. We have to see our faces there as South Sudanese. Today, Malong here with his son, they are a movement. I am here with my son, we are a movement. And we don't even have a common agenda. Because if we come together, Malong will think I am a Kolokur in a different clothes. Then when will we come together and overcome this? How many oppositions are in the bush and they don't trust each other? Then what do you achieve by not trusting the comrades in arms or in struggle? This is self-deception. And for your information, there is no single community that will be able to overcome a dictator. When Riek Machar tried that he will use Nuer. He was only misusing them. That is a mistake. Make everything national. Make everything national. Then you will be a statesman and you will work. But if you are a tribal kingpin and you think you will make South Sudan a better place, then you are completely doomed. That is not going to work. This is fact. If you like it or you don't like it, you, the hearer, should sleep and analyze in your dreams or in your deep thoughts that no single community will take South Sudan to where it should go, where we think it should go. That is self-deception. I just see this is the usual myopia, a misdiagnosis. People that are just talking for the sake of talk. They do not even know their problem. They just want to talk. That is it. Tribal sentiments don't make any sense. I will always go for just cause. But people who do not go for a just cause are moribund. They don't have hits. They are going to a direction that is not going to produce results. Let the clubhouses discuss, but I have a clear consign. I will oppose Kir's government until when a solution is arrived at. And we don't talk regularly in a manner that is inflammatory, because also we have committed to a number of agreements. There is Rome resolution and the cessation of hostilities of Addis Ababa that was conducted in 2017. All these restrain us from being hostile towards one another. And that is why we don't insult Kir. And number two, if I insult Kir today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, that would not be enough to remove him. Insults are not tools of liberation. If I call tribes by name, like I always chant that I have a problem with Murle, that is no longer a liberation of South Sudan. It is something else. And that something else will not be allowed to have a room in our country. How do you eliminate a community? How do you say you own a community that you can use against a government that is well equipped with the state machinery and is using resources to destroy the country? Perfectly, tribal inclinations are the vein that has made the opposition incapable of making impact in the country. Believe me or not, the oppositions that we are heading do not come together because of the speculative thinking. John Garang was not speculative. He brought everyone on board, give you responsibilities according to your ability, and then you pursue the goal through your channel of work. This did not happen with oppositions. The community is moving independent from the other. That's not going to be impactful.
Thank you, dear Sunday. I think I will give you a little break to take a glass of water. Then
my son has even come complaining.
That's the leader of South Sudan, and I believe he will not be in opposition anymore. He will be back home then.
No, he should be in school. But no school. Rebels don't study. He's not a rebel anyway. He's an innocent kid. Innocent child.
That's why I said he will be at home. Anyway, let's not divert from our topic.
Yes.
I will give you a 5-minute break. And Ibrahim, could you play a very little song if you have a YouTube song?
Okay.
We are not here. We don't want to speak Dinka right now because DR Sunday already mentioned that if he's in Lake State, you want to speak English because it's a diverse opposition.
It sounds good, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The sound is good.
Hi everyone. Anechal ni bol ma kurkulang. Ani nyan yerol.
Hello. Anechal nyan kuja for the few and nyan yero.
Wajang yelwel bay on terjen lu kajibayer kielwel nyal palu babu kyam gulie wen malen nyanto tin gujur baltor ya leutin tugro wanto yang dan yin nong yal kuyen nyayu n kagda bol man kyang bay banong kir ga jur matyang on man deng nyal ban man di tor garang mabor president kira mandan go buran tiol Oi tong kedeng makwa gawai kon ben pon pana mon nyono ter pan mandal be kedol wi kna ba kedeng mom ya mo le jet kulwe man kwai tong la gu kulwe la nyar go ne kelwe la mon ko dikini ya god kuni kyang pa ki da bo kyang amala kwairu nya ti yugiran pan parai go mong kin kedog ko iran tia Tomon nyon, unre mune janya the pudding ban get it in a command. Get young para leon no bad day. A quire go panda go, where young genu, catching along when guru, Timon young yabunaga jam no wedding young, and you young over one but you buy dear wood with Bunga for now, young wet.
Wonderful.
I want to play one more.
Okay.
Very nice dancing.
Thank you, Daniel.
Where my relate to my big galloy, and we leg is sending him to come up. Gonna wound you, did I jack? Would make my reality like you know, don't what the line war again. You know, you put a man who put on what around where my relate to my big galloy. Run me leg is sending him to come up. I only ran the poker man young joke you wouldn't do. All of my poor like we Yenchi adeko yetemunum and one young everything you want. Dalgo Yanagori, Yana Punimani, Mama Kuimaunda, Petting go for the Dalaja, what can say Japan? Now what I only learn to poke my young jockey, you do. All of my Kura like we are Yenchi adeko yetemunum, and one young everything you want. Dalgo Yanagori, Yana Punimani, Mama Kuimaunda, Petting go for the Dalaja, what can say Japan? I'm going to go to Kura like we are couple of years to know. In the low to my land, my boy, and your pay. In the cook, you read the woody, and yet in the double. In a piano, but going in the don't know who to do. Kura like we are a couple of years. You know, in the low, Jama let my boy, not a pain. In the cook, you read the woody, and yet in the double. And then the lake, in the piano, but going in the don't know who to do. Kura like we are a couple of years. You know, in the low, Jama let my boy, not a pain. In the cook, you read the woody, and yet in the double. And then the lake, in the piano, but going in the don't know who to do. What did you do? I am not here. I did it. What did you do? I am not here.
Ajire kidia jirki o jirki ole miti ajire kidia jirki o jirki jire kidia jirki o jirki ole kuro we era ni kaponi jirki tunawo Jumale mabura nyarpe injuko kire ajukuri nganyeti inje takara inanele inanyar kubato nyiti tono kunetu Koma kuro wakwe era nelu ikapone sheke tunawa Jumale mabura nyarpe injuko kire ajukuri nganyeti inje takara
Okay, gentlemen, welcome back. Alrighty. So, Ball and brother Daniel, you had welcome back, and Dr. Sunday John, welcome back. So, we will give this turn now to our brother Daniel. Ball, you guys can take over and you.
Thank you, Abraham, for coming to join us. Go back to work, and if you see us almost to close, come back. Daniel, you are
Okay.
highly welcome.
Okay.
I'm losing power.
Okay.
You losing power on your phone?
Yeah. Let me try to make amendments.
Okay. So
Okay.
try to just get it first, right? And then we can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be.
Yeah. Bull here.
The microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You good now?
Yeah. There is power now, although I don't have
Okay.
a microphone. I hope it is. The earphones on. I hope there is no echo.
No, I don't hear any echo. Okay. My name is Daniel Yud Matektek. They look like a rock. Yeah, that might be something. My name is Daniel, and that is your mic is making. Okay. So my name is Daniel Yud. I'm a young padang with media. So we work all on the line about what's going on. So it's nice to meet you, Dr. Sunday Emmanuel, Dr. Emmanuel Sunday de John. It's a first time to meet you, and I see you interview with Brother Bull, and I was like, let me come in and we can ask some questions. Anyway, I want to say Happy New Year, Kulaman from Kevin. Do you guys talk about the election of South Sudan, which is mean it is very crucial for all of us to know exactly how the election is gonna take place. Do you mind if you can mute one mic there, Brother Bull, and then you can mute the mic? Now okay, now it is good. Yeah. So, Dr. Emmanuel Sunday, the election is a very important part for people to understand how the election will conduct it. First thing is we call the guy called Ambassador Gordon Boy a couple of days ago, and we asked him how the South Sudan is going to take how South Sudan the election is gonna take place. While everybody is like this, everybody outside, but what he say, Gordon Boy, he say the election will take place, but everything will be implemented before the time come. He mentioned that there will be an office in Canada, the office that everybody South Sudanese people they can have a passport to go to South Sudan from there. Then, Dr. Sunday, I have a question for these people. You are one of opposition, and there is so many opposition. I have a couple of questions here. The first question I'm gonna ask you, as you are opposition, uh, why all this opposition they not together and do one objective? Because now I see there is so many opposition that I don't know how they gonna come together and make the thing go. together? This is the first question. Another thing too, you mentioned that it pretend this. People feel like they know what they're doing, but I call them, they look like passengers. Somebody drive the car and they rock a few and they going to where they going. We know opposition is somebody who don't have, who complaining for what is going not right, but it should be one opposition together and work together and achieve one objective. But now there is so many opposition. I don't know if you by yourself you can tell us why the opposition they not together and they call themselves opposition, and who is gonna be the opposition that will go in and talk to the government. Because one day I went to the show of Emmanuel Sunday and I asked Emmanuel Sunday, if I want to be an opposition, which opposition can I join now? Because I'm confused. There is too many opposition. And I think that is opposition. You need a bad attitude person and good attitude person in order to achieve what you need. So this is, I'm not going to go along because I will ask you again. So this is the two questions. Why the opposition, they not together as they are opposition? And then another one is, who is the opposition that will actually negotiate the returning back to the South Sudan, because there is too many opposition right now. And I don't know your opposition also, because it's the first time to meet you, and you might be the another one within another opposition, or you are independent opposition too. So I can give you the floor there, and then I will come back later on for the last question. Oh, unmute the, yeah. Bull, unmute the doctor. Unmute him. It is on mute. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Daniel, for your two questions. I need to paraphrase them. One, you have been informed by Gordon Boy, I think he's a deputy ambassador somewhere, USA or I don't know.
In Washington, D.C. here.
Yes, that the elections of South Sudan will be conducted, and there will be outposts in different countries to provide passports for the locals to return home for elections, and that everything will be put in place before the election time comes. You are querying as what I think about that and how is it going to be done. A while ago, I expressed my views on the issues of elections. First of all, the country is still at war. It was 2 days ago that we saw on the TV a team from Juba to Khartoum and a team from Manganese or Upper Nile to Khartoum.
Yeah, the team in
Manganese, yes.
Yeah.
They went there to negotiate again after they butchered each other for the last 1 week. That is adequate to tell us that there is no peace in the country. Number two, this evening, the National Salvation Front under General Thomas Cirillo has issued a statement on attacks that they said was conducted by the SSPDF against their forces around Lobonok and other areas, with a number of key people within the community missing. All are also gearing towards lack of peace, and then plenty of oppositions outside the country, including some in the USA like Berajak and those of Brother Abraham Wallich and then we say we need elections to be conducted in the country in 2023 as per provisions of the revitalized RCs. I said before that those elections are not going to be successful. They are going to be a sham. Elections are not all about votings. There are preliminary stages that should be undertaken. And we know very well 1/3 of South Sudanese is in the refugee camps. There are several refugee camps in Ethiopia. We have others here in Kenya and others in Uganda, Sudan, and Central African Republic, plus Congo, and so on. Those refugees are not the diaspora community. It is not them that will be provided with the passports. And they are not at home. There are locally camps in South Sudan, like the protection of civilian sites inside the UN premises across the country. There was the disaster or flood that is natural, that has displaced people, nearly all in major parts of Jonglei and also in Upper Nile. And even Unity State, as we have seen, the influx of people from there to Lake State. Some are in Irul, others are in Rumek, and other parts of South Sudan, including even in Warab. And there is flood in Awil that was even keeping people not to grow what to eat. All those are problems that have produced other problems, and they have not been addressed. The process of elections is always preceded by the registration of the electorates. And this is based on the census, including the creation of constituencies, is also based on the census. No census conducted. People are not in their homes. Others are far away from the country, and the conflict is ongoing, Brother Daniel. And this is January, and it will end in the next 2 weeks. Comes February. Can you prepare all this in 10 months? Not possible. The government of South Sudan is not implementing smoothly the agreement with the security arrangements. The forces have not been cantoned. The unification has not been done. Even without us, will they manage to conduct elections? No. Those are provisions of the agreement. They are being observed internationally. And the government of the day cannot say we will not do them. They say it for the sake of their safety. But they are very much aware nothing has been done. They complain to have no money. Will you conduct elections without resources? If the USA and other countries like the Troika members, plus perhaps the neighboring countries, put together their hands and give money to South Sudanese to conduct their elections, that would not be enough to take South Sudanese home. Talking about those elections is just the extension of tenure that will not satisfy South Sudanese, and it will even cause more wars than the recent wars. To me, I don't see any elections that will take place and then South Sudanese go home happy that they have now made their decision. They have put in place leaderships at different levels that they like. Honestly, a reasonable person will not speculate, but say outright that this is not possible. There are impossibilities. Number two, They say that if a lion wants to eat cows, it does not come and jump on one. No. It first put its tail between the legs and then urinate on it and then weigh it to scatter urine around, and the smell will be strong enough to make the herd of cattle run in disarray and then choose the vulnerable cow it will now kill. When I am putting that across, I want to say, should those elections be conducted, then we have only accepted to be in disarray so that a lion chooses what it likes and is going to win those elections without any resistance. The elections will be conducted when Riek Machar is at odds with his men, when Lama Col is perhaps in the USA or in Sudan or in Egypt, when the likes of Malong and Thomas Cirillo are in their corridors of hiding, and then they will dance Akuma Vitana with James Wani, and they will be winners. Full stop. Is that a change?
Okay. Dr. Sunday, I
Let me
want
go
to
to
say,
the other question.
okay, yeah, go to why the opposition, they are not together, and now you guys calling for to go to South Sudan, not implementing anything, but why the opposition, they not together, so they can work together to make sure they
Yes.
are opposition for one aim.
Yes. You know, when we were under one umbrella, that is the liberation cause, there were strong documentations that are made genuinely for the pursuit of the cause. The many oppositions in the bush here do not come together because, one, they are very tribal. Two, that is honest, they are very tribal. If you are Jiang and you go to join Equatorians, you will not get the gist of it. And if you are Equatorian, you want to join Jiang, you will not get the gist of it. The same thing with the Nuer, the same thing with other communities. It doesn't work because of tribalism. Number two, some oppositions were formed for the purpose of recycling, a way of getting back to the government after you have been sacked. It is just like a new birth. You are being reborn again through bloodshed. So an opposition like that cannot accept the principles that are laid down and pursued. The focus will always be, how do I quickly get back to the government and loot the country? Oppositions like that cannot accept others to unite with them. Some oppositions are outside here with agenda that cannot be embraced by all. For example, if my agenda is to own Upper Nile and eliminate Chiluk from Upper Nile, or I am Chiluk and eliminate Jiang and Nuer from Upper Nile, that agenda is not national. Who will support you in it? You will do it with your like minds. Those are other ingredients of why the oppositions are not coming together. So kindly take it that oppositions are divided because of these factors, plus many other reasons, which I cannot talk about. You have seen we have made an umbrella that is called SOMA. SOMA was made up of 6 political organizations. South Sudan United Front, that we were in with General Malong, the National Salvation Front, that is headed by General Thomas, the Real SPLM by Pagana Moom, there is UDRM by 2DOP. There is also what they call SSNMC by Dr. Makindi, and there is also the NDMPF, the National Democratic Movement Patriotic Front by Emmanuel Ajawin.
Yeah.
All these were in one place, but barely they could not even spend 1 year together. They split it because each section is suspicious of the other. We come here, our faction with Maluk, we are the Dinka, so we are the majority here, we are the leaders, we must lead. Thomas Cirillo here with his group, Dinka are the reason for the crisis in the country. Dinka are the problems in Upper Nile, and then we cannot make the center of gravity hold us.
And now they are 7. Now there is a McGinnis group now. It's become now 7 of you, but you guys sit on one umbrella. But now plus 1 now is become a sick opposition. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, 7. I mean, yeah.
Now those oppositions were scattered. It is 2, 1, 3, 5 going independent from the other. So what magic will South Sudanese opposition perform that will make them come together? It is only when they kill tribalism and when they really drop right agenda. If your agenda is not national, it will not be bought by any sound member of the society that belongs to South Sudan. All in all, you are aware why these oppositions do not come together. You are aware of that. You know it very well.
Yeah. So
there is no even leadership and guidance.
Yeah,
there is no leadership and guidance.
Yeah,
everybody
this is the truth.
wants to be a leader, and there is no one camp that is headed by 10 men. There has to be one, and the rest have to accept that this one should lead. That is never what happens.
Okay.
So all these are the reason why oppositions do not come together. And some of them, you know them. You know very well how polarized your region is. That is our region as South Sudanese. How polarized 1, 2, 3 areas are. Tribalism has engulfed the country. There are also sentiments that are deeply rooted. And when sentiments stay for long, they become hatred. So here, I can rest my case on that.
Okay, Dr. Sunday, you really said them all. Something called tribalism is all from Junub all the way to where we are here. Opposition is still carrying tribalism. Yani mulasak fi gumai without tribalism. Then wherever you go into Lisa Maiche, you going with tribalism. Now, what I can say, Dr. Sunday, being a refugee, being moved a refugee from where they live to the South Sudan is called optional. It's something called optional. Is a personal opinion. Even United Nations is not gonna allow South Sudan to repatriate all of these people. Even I was in Ethiopia in 2099 to 2005. Daman John Garangja. Lekin at this time, when people wanna go back to South Sudan, what the Ethiopia said, Ethiopia tells to the refugee, this is your option. You need to choose to go or not to go. So refugee, they choose to go, they left. But the refugee, they don't choose to go. That is their right. That is the human right. It's nobody put them. So election with South Sudan, it's not gonna be the problem of the people who in a refugee camp. This is the optional. People will go. Not to go, not to go. So, but the problem is here. Now, if you wanna be in election, your opposition, it need to be registered too in South Sudan in order for you to be a part of this election. This is number one. Now you guys, like 7 of you are opposition. Dr. Sunday, what can you tell us now? What's gonna be the success for this opposition? All of this opposition, forget about the government. Government is waiting all of you. But what do you see now? This tribalism is still with you guys. And what is the
Well,
success do you guys gonna have to get after this?
well, nobody is destined to fail. When we began to force the government, we knew you take yourself as a nationalist with an agenda to pursue with the like-minded, but we have failed to come together. That does not mean the opposition has failed. Like during our liberation days, John Garang used to say that when among mang was a naman nabgaw question. So this is the point of Mang Mang. As a matter of honesty, elections are due in the country.
Hey, that's Sunday.
We have not
Nina
been
Mang.
digested. Even the
Kida.
SPLM is a
Nina
farce.
Mang and Nina
I was
Machin
just
Kida.
talking about the presence of our people in the POCs. In Juba, there are plenty of people, and our mothers are already producing Chinese children in those POCs camps, which is also a disadvantage. And they are not out, they are not coming out. Why don't they come out? It's not that POCs has the nicest food or the nicest housing. No, they even sometimes get affected and they sleep in water. But they think if they come out, the process of reconciliation has not happened. So they will be killed again. And you better remain safe than to come and run back and meet your fate in the middle. So the country is not harmonious. And if you conduct elections, when citizens are that scared, I do not think it is going to be useful elections. Number two, the forces are still loitering. The forces of Riek Machar are loitering. The ones of who and who are loitering. And you conduct elections, and any of the people refuse to concede, the war returns. So there is something that needs to be done. It is not an issue of elections by name. It has to be credible and providing results that are going to make the country harmonious. All in all, our problem is the leadership. If people go to elections tomorrow and Kir wins or Riek Machar wins, Kir will not accept. They will go to conflict back again. All in all, there are so many things that have not been done. And the international community should not drag South Sudanese into conflict. That conflict will even be worse than what we have already experienced. And we are not supposed not to be analytical when we are thinking on situations like that. I know very well we are talking on this, and deep down in our hearts, we are very much aware that there are certain things that are desirable, but they are unattainable. So the unattainability of the elections in our country is a big factor, and it has to be seen with clarity. South Sudanese are not like the rest. Their problem don't go in one day. And even if you want to decide to conduct these elections, we will not accept them, because you know very well that would render South Sudan a protectorate when somebody from outside conducts the elections. So there is much to be done. This is a sticky point. I might be wrong by being pessimistic, but if there is a good formula, who am I to object what is good to South Sudanese? I am just a feeler, a member of this society. But what is at stake is so much that we cannot commit a blunder by saying that we are going to elections unprepared. And this is going to be the first election for South Sudan. What was conducted in 2009 was not for South Sudan. It was supposed to happen in 2015. And you know how speculations resulted to chaos and how the country has been devastated until now. Whether you are inside South Sudan or outside South Sudan, there is nothing good.
Dr. Sunday, I will have a last question to give it to other people. There is the show we did a couple of time ago. Raised with real SPLA was there, and when we asked him, we say, "What is your opposition?" He say, "Real SPLA," and we asked him, "Did you register your party?" So, what can I ask you here is South Sudan actually they will do a younger peace between the election is gonna take place according to what they planning now. Even though people they don't believe there will be something done, they will done something that close to them, but might not reach you guy outside here. But they might do something better to them until they do their own election, whether he come back or somebody else. This one is gonna happen. But what I asking you here uh, are you going to register your party in order for you to be to be a part of to participate in election of South Sudan? Are you going to register, and when are you going to register? Or this party? Did any one of you here register that party?
Well, we have not arrived at peace with the government of the Republic of South Sudan to this hour. Two, all those organizations that you have mentioned before are not political parties, they are movements. They are instruments that are used to advance the agenda of change. And truly, they are not political parties. Until today, those parties that are in Juba, including the SPLM headed by Kir, has not been registered. It's either because there are no electoral laws or lack of political party registry. As a matter of honesty, we don't have a political force in South Sudan. We have a group of organizations that are claiming to be political parties. The SPLM itself has not been registered. So ours have not been registered. NAS is not registered. SAP is not registered. They are movements. They don't even have presence with headquarters in Juba, or else you will be raided and taken to the Blue House for the rest of your life.
So you
they are
believe
not
that
in existence.
so you believe none of them will not register because they are the movement, so they don't need the registration because they not a political party, right?
No, we do not know what will happen tomorrow. If tomorrow brings the harmony that South Sudan deserves, and then the government of the day or the political forces in the country accept multi-partyism, then democracy is not supposed to prevent others from participation. But all in all, let us leave it open, because tomorrow all these parties or one of them may sign an agreement and may get registered in Juba if at all there was going to be registration of parties. And so we cannot rule it out. We should not talk in absolute terms. We may end up committing very great blunders, which I don't think I should hold myself responsible by absolutely saying none of these parties will be registered. We don't know what may come tomorrow. And more so, negotiations are underway, according to the president and according to the mediators. So we do not know, they may negotiate. And on top, the real SPLM has already okay, it's in the bush, but there is a guiding principle for the real for the old SPLM, whether the one of the IO, the ones of Kir, the ones of the FDs, or the one of Pagan. There is Arusha agreement that they can choose to neglect or implement. So it is there. But for us, we are organically very new in the political scene. We have not existed before 2018. And NAS has existed before that. But all in all, it's a movement. It's not a political party. It is only legal because of the legality of a liberation. There is a revolutionary legality that does not need to be documented anywhere.
Thank you, Dr. Sunday. That is all. I be stop here and listening, and then I will return back the mic to Brother Bull McQuay. And then thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Daniel.
very much, Daniel, for grilling me.
Thank you. Daniel is one of the young Padang media reporters, so it's good that he's here to questioning you, Dr. Sunday. It's good that uh, answer his question. So we are about to come to close. My question to you, Dr. Sunday, about you know, Daniel and I, we are very much in Clubhouse. We listen to the rooms that opposition created, and we're listening in. Like few weeks ago, if I'm not wrong, Daniel, you can correct me. A few weeks ago, there was a comment Ambassador Emmanuel Sunday made about that history. I'm talking about the history of Dinka Mwanjang. That the Dinka they are coming from Senegal. As I know you, you are one historically. You know very much a lot about this. Can you tell South Sudanese who are watching right now or will watch later? Uh, do you know a little bit about where do Dinka come from? Do they come from Senegal?
Well, history in South Sudan is oral. And from where people originate, there are always remnants. Logic dictates that way. Currently, if I may ask, do we have remnants of Dinka in Senegal? Do we have few Dinkas that have remained in Senegal? All in all, if somebody is building a case, he can recite any history that comes to his mind. But talks like that are not important in South Sudan because they are not what we need. All of us are in South Sudan today. Be they Dinka, be they Shiluk, be they Anuak, Murle, be they Jia, Taposa, Bari, Kakwap, Julua, Bukaya, we are all South Sudanese. If Dinka came from Senegal, nobody brought them to South Sudan. And therefore, nobody will be responsible to remove them from South Sudan. What we call for is harmony. Live well with your neighbor. Don't use the ethnicity as the basis of your hatred. If they have wronged you, go to the right instruments of handling the wrong deeds. I don't subscribe to tribal sentiments. I don't want to eliminate anyone in South Sudan. If you want to eliminate Dinka, you are a liar. If you want to eliminate anyone, Murle or Jie, or you are a liar. Nobody will be eliminated. We must find a formula that we belong to South Sudan. All these are all nonsense. They will never make any politician succeed. If you succeed because you chant the other tribes, your diameter is just very narrow. It's not nationalistic. Let us embrace harmony. Tribal sentiments are not very good. They have destroyed nations. And regretfully, those nations have not been fragmented. They remain together. And the case of Rwanda is the case in question. There are no sections that have left. Every human being in this world has a history. And you could have heard the history of civilization is attributed to Ethiopia, and so on and so forth. Let us not just encourage those sentiments, even by asking about it. They should be left to people who say them, because maybe they find joy in them. But they are polarizations. They cannot make us progress. Who did not come from where? All of us have come in one way or another. Today you are in USA. Tomorrow, other South Sudanese will be seen in Egypt. Others are in Kenya. All in all, country like USA is made up of diversities, and you know the history so well. History of South Sudan is very literal, oral. It's not documented, and every other person would say negatively something to discriminate the other section. That is not what we are looking for. We are looking for prosperity, and prosperity is not achieved by tracing the roots of others. I don't think the Dinka in Upper Nile do not deserve to be there. They deserve to be there. Where will they go? That is their home. The Chuluk in Upper Nile will not go anywhere. That is their home. The Nuer in Upper Nile, the Maban people, they will be there. They only have to find the harmony. And people are divided always when there is no good leadership. We need good leadership. Land in South Sudan is big. It's bigger than all of us. And it is not populated all. There would be no very good reason that you do not want so and so to be part of your society just because of that small hatred. Look, if you do mathematical calculation, our land in South Sudan is equal to Uganda and Kenya and even Rwanda, part of it combined. And Kenya has over 50 million. Rwanda has over 20, and Uganda has 40 or more than that. If you put that population together, is above 100. And they live in a land that is equivalent to us, and we are only 8 or less. They greed for no good reason. South Sudan is big for all of us. We must not trace our roots and advance hatred. That is not nationalistic. We must think better than that. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Emmanuel. We are coming to our end. We will close the show. I would give Daniel 1 minute and give you another 1 minute to make the closing statement, and we will close the show. It is a good show. It went very well, and we are all learning from each other. Especially you are an opposition, but there are very good things that in that opposition. I am not an opposition, and being not opposition does not mean that you cannot tell the government ma John Garang de Mobile kan bugulu le hukuma buta Sadiq Almadi balitukum kakanin ubadin. There is a very heavy noise.
Doctor, mute, Dr. Sunday, mute, no, is not speaking. Okay, yeah.
And then after that, he was received heavily in Khartoum. So what I'm trying to put across here, you have explained very well the last part, especially about the Dinka.
You guys need to answer that question.
If South Sudan is bigger than us, why Dinka are the only tribe who won't chase the other tribe out of there? No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I will answer it this way. I believe somebody else that question is from Equatoria. And always Equatorian people, they are seeking for federalism. And if they are seeking for federalism, they should ask themselves, if you want a federal government, you should allow Dinka to live anywhere. You should not be thinking that Dinka are taking the land. Dinka will buy land anywhere because that's the federalism you want. So that's how I will respond that question. I'll give it to Daniel. I will make it short like that. Because you claim that you need federalism. And when Dinka are going, Lamandinga Yemchi, Sakan, fi Equatoria, fi Kapoita, Sakan, fi Kejikeji, Uwen, ita Kumbukori. Lakin federalism said that any citizens of the country have to live anywhere. You don't have to be entitled to live in Lake State, to live in a will or Yambio. You can live anywhere. You don't have to be entitled to live in Dinka land or Equatorial land. You have to live anywhere. Also, Dinka are not chasing anybody away from South Sudan. Actually, we are embracing what we call living in harmony, of which other people don't want. We want to live in harmony. Ude ade kalam zato nina de nemchi isaka ninak fimala deal. Ude ade, and that was the dream of the movement, that we need to live in harmony. We are the kalam nina taradna al madunkuri. So I will leave it like that. Daniel, go ahead and give it to Dr. John, because I was asked, I am a host, but I was asked to answer that question. So if I have not answered it the way you liked it, that's what comes in my mind. So there's no, Dinka is not chasing anybody out. Dinka want to live the way you guys want as a federalism state. Thank you.
Let me see. Okay. Thank you, Bull, Makur, and then Dr. Sunday. For this question, for the person that asked the question, the first thing is there is no anyone just another person. Only the fighting that is the government with the IU that is make everybody in the refugee. This question also we asked Dr. Lama like a couple months ago about because people they say the Chuluk in Afanal was chased away by Dinka Afanal. So when we ask somebody like Dr. Lamakol, he said exactly, he said there is no any Dinka chase the Chuluk away. That was the fighting, let people go, and then the return back was optional for the person to come back or not to come back. So if we are to talk about the land, this land of South Sudan is about everywhere. Dinka Barao have issue land, Katoria Balao into have a issue of land. So this is the land problem for them. That is why Dr. Sunday is here, is one of the opposition. And also there is an opposition within this. I don't know, Dr. Sunday hear it. That is the opposition. Some of our opposition, they hear outside because of the land. They not because of Salva Kiir is doing wrong or doing now, but they here for the land, which is mean they have a problem with non-government person, like people who live in there, they have a problem. But this tour, the constitution of Geneva, Sudan, is said clearly, you have a free of movement to live anywhere in South Sudan. The idea there is in this tour. What Madid asking you here, Dr. Sunday, Galano, Dinka, they coming from Senegal and all of this. That is a school encourage tool to make other people happy about Dinka. That is why you see the question now. We say Dinka chase people away from this land, so they have the tool to bring everything. That is that what they say. Dinka is coming from Senegal, like you said exactly. There is no Senegal speaking Dinka now in Senegal. We share the color the same, like yani color betana us what they are all list of Senegal. Like in local, we don't have no any language sharing with them. So this one you cannot bothering yourself arguing with this person, because it what he tried to do, he tried to fishing, fishing for supporters to support him. That is what they doing. So you don't even worry about it. You don't even bothering yourself. This guy is fishing. It's called fishing. So he can get a lot of supporters. Okay. The same question here. We did not chase anybody. Like if we come for the land, there is a land problem overall. Katoria Barao, they have their own problem land. Ma Nazbeta Turid, Nazbeta Central Katoria, they Nazbeta Baride. Thomas Sharila zato indukam mel ne fi Juba. Obao mel yani men kentamol start few zato start huinen salata arba start. Uindu mel fi bari. Lakin they have a problem. For another Dr. Sunday, if we want to come together, opposition and the government and everybody, you guys, we need something called cooperation. We need to cooperate to each other, whether you are opposition or whatever, because the dream is get our country to stand on their feet. Because we see now some people, they say we want to renovate our country. Some people, they say we regenerate our country. So we need to fix it, the problem there in Mudua land. But what I recommended here, Dr. Sunday, the opposition should not carry the tribalism from Juba to the bush where they are here. So this is something that is gonna make us also is not gonna reach where the people going. From what they say is Dinka is coming from Senegal. We're not gonna. This is what they saying, but that is what the Madrid was asking you if you know about it, because we know Senegalese people, they don't speak Dinka. But this guy, they doing something called fishing. So they fishing for their supporters until they get their supporters, and then now they can do everything. But we need to fix our South Sudan. That is the only thing I can say. But to Dr. Sunday, also you need to know also your party, you're gonna be a part of registration or you will be a part of this election. This thing we need to know. Lana Indina White also campaign now in social media. He wanna run for presidential. I think you know him. Which is mean nothing wrong, but you need to make it property so you can get a supporters. Like Nina and Lake State, we are reporters. Also, Padang Nina reporters, we can help your campaign and go. Lana Nina, we're not even here to be a president or whatever. We need a support. That's just a support. So if you prepare your movement like you Sunday or UDF or really SPLA, you want to support for announce it and help you like this social media, we need to make a thing clear. And we need to leave behind something called tribalism. Like you say, people from Malong should be Dinka, people from Katoria should be Thomas Churila. Yao real SPLA is Yao Katir Shuluk. This is not going to take us there too. Madrid, I want to say here, if Dr. Sunday have to answer me anything, he can go there, but I recommend that this tribalism is still with us and we're not gonna success. But thank you very much, Madid and Bull Makur, and then the mic back to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I am a host and I will not be carried away by the comment that made by Emmanuel Jawin. The first people that had been bringing Emmanuel Jawin to board is I and Ibrahim Adin Majak. Actually, I know he's Madula of Langata, how he think. He's one of the politicians that his language is very nasty. And if you allowed yourself not to defend yourself, his statement can carry you away. But one thing I like about Emmanuel Jawin is a very nasty politician. But one thing I like about him, he accepts to speak and he accepts to come to where South Sudanese is at. That's only one thing I like about him, but he's a very nasty politician. Thank you.
Unmute Dr. Sunday.
TR Sunday, you are, I think your phone is already.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. I thought you guys can hear him, and I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not hearing him. Telephone beto kalas mutu.
No, Mahmoud, like in my audio picture, beto like okay.
We cannot hear him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we cannot hear.
Drop him and bring him back.
We cannot hear you. So they bring.
Yeah, it's coming.
Log out and come back.
Log out and come back, dear. Yeah. Yes, that's the only alternative. So remember when we bring Emmanuel Jawin on board, That was 2020 to 2019. He have he have not changed this language of targeting Dinkas. He had been speaking against Dinkas. The only way to debate with Emmanuel is to give yourself a very comfortable chair and don't run away, and you debate with him until the next day. And he will never change about talking bad hill about Dinka. In fact, Emmanuel Ajawin will never rule South Sudan because he's one of the tribalistic mindset leader. He will never rule South Sudan. He's very good at making things up. So,
Yeah,
and I wish he is here. I like me and him. We challenge each other very much. I remember when I challenged him about he was talking about some other issues previously, and I challenged him, and he challenged me, and he blocked me from Facebook. So, but I like that he come to Lake State media sometimes. So,
can you,
but he will never rule South Sudan. He will keep
there is Sunday, can you hear us?
challenging Dinka. He will never rule South Sudan. If somebody
Sunday,
met him, tell him one of the hosts in Lake State media said that you will never rule South Sudan. So let's go back to our topic.
Yes, I am back. Do you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay, perfect. You know, when I saw that comment that why Dinka chasing other people away, I can say
Go
very
ahead. The
easily.
just request to
Yeah,
put his comment up for a little bit.
I can say easily that that one is a preaching of sentiments, and it is just a misdiagnosis of the problem. As we are speaking now, there is no any community that has been displaced by Dinka. Never. When conflict comes, conflict is not Dinka. Around 2019, I was in places like Jalmo Jale, around Kajuketi. There were no people there because they are battlefields. And nobody will be interested in getting armed. If you have gone to the neighboring country for safety, that does not mean you have been displaced. Your land has been taken because there is no occupation that has happened. Okay. If it is just a movement, for example, of some communities of Dinka to the territories of Equatoria, it is just for the grazing purposes. And Dinka too grow crops. They grow crops. There is nobody that will destroy anybody's crop. I was saying the other time, these are true branches of agriculture that needs not to be messed up. All these are just a portrayal of characteristics that are anti-society. But like always, from the time I grew up in the Dinka community, Dinka is not supposed to respond to all the statements made in their name. That is their nature. It doesn't make them better. They leave. Hatred is the one that is being spread like that. And take it home. In the human society, there are people born, whether you do what to them, they'll still say your name in a negative way. But you do not have to be bitter about them. What I know is small friction that is caused by land is not a factor of today. It has been there for time immemorial. I have witnessed a fierce conflict between Bari and Mundari, who are all belonging to Central Equatoria, on the issues of Jebelado and Mangala, and even some other closer places around Juba. These are non-issues. They are not the ones that break our country. We just don't have good leadership. If a good leadership is in place, those become very minimal that we cannot discuss them here. When we were fighting with Arabs, most of the South Sudanese today were either in Khartoum or in the neighboring Uganda or so. But they have not accused Arab of having taken their land. It is just because the land has turned into a battlefield. But later, when a resolution was made, Arabs went and the land remained. It is very uncivil to be envious about a person that is passing and is sleeping and is going tomorrow. You know, sometimes people are being forced to be tribal when it is not very important. Look, South Sudanese must not think like that. أي زول بيتكلم إنه وبيقول كلامات شين أو كلامات حرة لأكو with the hope that they are بيكون حل للمشكلة الجنوب is a liar. Let's look for solution. It is not the first time Dinka came to Juba. And it was not Dinka who dreams in their areas to come to Juba. No, Juba is the seat of the government. Not today, long time ago. The truth is, there is no any society in South Sudan that does not have land. And there is no land in South Sudan that is not endowed in the best way possible. It is just that societies have been sensitized. Like my children here, I teach them that we hate a tribe also. And then they grow with that condition in their mind. That is dwarfism. Nobody can grow like that. Madam Lawial Rasial Bekharaiya. La Wadi la Vijip. Uma Begair al Halab Tatinu. Kharaiya will never change South Sudan. It's not going to take us forward or backward. It's just a pool of stagnation. And there is no any opposition that is founded or grounded on tribal hatred that will make it successful in South Sudan. I can reiterate that for free. The Khalam Hagiga. Zemakan Gutayomdaka, Dinka are not mad about leadership. It is the people who want to lead that segregate themselves. They begin to say, I am not fit, Lanu Dinka Mwajut. They will deny me. That is a lie. And if we go to the history of our country, even just with the advent of Addis Ababa peace agreement that was signed by the movement of the Anyanya headed by Joseph Lago, Lagu became a leader, and he comes from Madi community. Madi by size is not equal to Bari. Madi by size is not equal to Zande. Madi by size is not equal to Nuer or equal to Dinka. But Lagu is a statesman. He showed that he can lead, and he was embraced by all. The same thing, Naman James Tumbraja, he also led. But with the advancement of sentiments of the Kokora, why do we need to regress? Why can't we progress? More so, Kalamad Harb and Nagulufil social media, they are not a solution to any of our problems. They are only hatred. Until South Sudanese begin to think as South Sudanese and not tribe so and tribe so, Junub will not be what we think. And that is why I said, if we fight tribalism more than the members of a particular tribe, we will succeed with ease. But then also, we need now to open horizons where we can now talk openly. Nagul Hajad al Kabde, they should not just be left to one faction to call you bad names. That is not it. You cannot also buy leadership with acceptance of nonsense. This issue, ana min gabila kida, wana madair gabila kida, is backwardness. There are politicians that use those sentiments to attract members of their sections. But remember, your section is too small to be South Sudan. My section is too small to be South Sudan. I need your section. I need their section to make me a leader that will make people of South Sudan prosperous. Kullu junubin al fi diaspora, whether you are from Dinka, from Equatoria, from Nuer, where do you sleep? Do you sleep on the streets? Are those streets your land? If you sleep in the house, is that house your land? Did your grandmother give it to you? No. It is a sign of civility. The land is made to be useful, to satisfy the needs of living beings. When John Garang and colleagues said there is community land, there is government land, is to prevent Arabs, because Arabs, they are owners of Jah. You cannot liberate the country or your people with the sentiments. You only make them weaker and weaker. So they fight psychological warfare. We cannot embrace tribalism. We must reject it. We must reject tribalism. There used to be very bad talk about this tribe and this tribe. That one is only a spread of disharmony. It has happened, and that is why we are at the stage we are in. If we advance it again, we will not be at this stage. We will even go lower than this. People who do not reflect are the ones that do not learn from their mistakes. South Sudanese, stop tribalism. Our land is big, and I have never seen a settlement anywhere as a result of displacement. Nothing. Speculation, mind conditioning. Dishino, Manaushino. It is backwardness. You always brag for Equatoria that we are civilized. Piapanal, we are civilized. Dinka brag also we are civilized. That is not the civilization we want, civilization of division. People in America came in different boats, but they are in America today. Somebody called Simon Soro said, am I running for position in coming elections? If the constitution of South Sudan has not been changed, I cannot run for president. I obey law. My age is not according to the constitutional requirement. That is enough as a variant. But I can run as a representative of a section of Juba. I can be an MP, perhaps of Gondogoro. What is wrong with that? I'll just have to ask Barrier to embrace me. I am also their son. So I will be an MP representing Juba, and I will advocate rightly for the people of Juba. and I will bring the development they want if elected. All in all, Kir is also permitting tribalism. We need him now to send Emmanuel Adil to Lake State to be a governor of Lakes and bring Rin to Juba. We need him to take Luis Lobong Lojore, send him to Malakal, and then bring somebody like Chagor, maybe take him to Yambio. And we see how South Sudan will move. There is nothing good in these tribal divisions. Let us think of South Sudan. A tribalism that would dinner when? Where will we go with it? We have tried it and it has not brought results. Why are we not remorseful about it? Anyway, let it not dominate my talk. I hate tribalism. Junubin are Junubin. What we can do is, if you have come to Equatoria and you are from Dinka, ensure that they are like your brothers back home. Live with them harmoniously. If you have moved from Equatoria to the other parts of South Sudan, ensure harmony. We will never permit that cows eat crops that belongs to somebody. Mafi, we cannot. Mafi is all high that will embrace that one. Even if you are Kawaja, leave alone being a South Sudanese who knows the value of crops and their livelihood of other people. And you cannot also be so mean that cows that are being affected by flood should not come to a highland that is not even closer to your farm. How many years do Ambororo cows spend? How many months? More than 7 months in the territories of South Sudan. And we do not chase them away because we know that is their lifeline. We just have to tell them that Ambororo cows should not eat our crops. They obey because cows eat grass. They'll take them where there is grass. For how long and since when? Shukta, this is hatred. All in all, on matters of elections, let us also give ourselves time to see how things will unfold. The well is said to be alive. So it is progressive. What it will bring on the table tomorrow, we don't know. So we should be broadly speaking that anything can happen. But what I know, if we need credible elections, not in 2023. Not because I have motives to reject elections. If they happen while I am here, the leaders that will come, if they bring the change I want, I will go back home without even wasting time and crying in the name of so and so. But if they cannot make it, then we will reestablish our mindset and think positively now. All in all, I don't know, Brother Daniel, if I have contributed to the points raised. Issue bitada alinil filan jamin min mal kida umama shikida is nonsense. It could just be fishing, as Daniel was saying. But deep down, the hearts of those who have pressed it, see how honest Lama call was. Nobody displaced the other. Conflict was the reason. That is wisdom, and it is the truth. Mafidaya nakunu fomenting force. And people who promote hatred this much are not even existing in South Sudan. They are laughing in the Western world. They only put their people in conflict that they don't participate in. So it's a talk of cowards.
Doctor, there are sons of Equatoria area who have not stepped in the other part of Bahr el Ghazal. They are the nas beningne. Kan fi zamanana mashina fi Lake State. Lamanana raja swag bitai kan wad min Equatoria ana salto ana gululong asma inte jid guide ni fi Lake State especially Yerul fizol bineng nang magal wala gal Yerul de mal kwes ana bas natala namchi najibu samak unashili mali rakabu unakul unamshi belet kwes. So I am arguing other brothers also to visit Bar al Ghazal. Don't be contained in Equatoria. In fact, I love to live in Equatoria, and I would like you also to live in Bar al Ghazal. So there's no point we should hate each other. But we will bring our show to an end. Dear Sunday de John, thank you very much for a huge contribution in those allegations. And also, I appreciate you for telling South Sudanese, you have teach them today about the tribalism, that it should not exist in our being. We should eliminate it. That's very good. You have exhausted a lot of points that we have asked, and this is very good interview. We will be happy to see you back in Lake State Media. In fact, we are going to bring other parts so we can hear from them. We are going to look for the people who have wrote the article, the people who have circulated the cause that you are one of the assassins. We are going to look for them, and unless if they will run away, so we can ask them here in Lake State Media, Shan Junubinza to a copy. And they have to listen, Maluna Zenza to Bukatiba Jet Zede. So we are going to hunt for them and bring them to Lake State Media. Thank you so much. Madini Majagan Bukali Lake Pursa, Achanto Bulena, Aja Basit, Ubade, Anina Bakfel.
Good. Shukran. Yeah. Shukran. Dr. John, Sunday John, thank you for coming in. So we will bring you back. So we will be the next topic. We will be discuss about the book that wrote by Dr. Carol Baker. So if you know, have you read that? If you didn't, I will forward that article. I will send it to you to your WhatsApp. And Denga York will do that on Monday in Clubhouse. So we'll bring it live in Let's Stay Media. So this is the wonderful, and this is where this drama, tribalism, coming in on that article written by Dr. Carol Baker. So thank you so much, guys. It's too late over there. Good night. Dr. John, Sunday John, and Bolmakur, have a wonderful night. While my greeting to everyone there in Nairobi. May God bless you all, and thank you all to the extended media viewers and supporters. Thank you.
Thank you.
In. Yeah, have a wonderful night, guys.
Thank you very much, Abraham, the chairman and the CEO of Lake State Media. We will be live again here, maybe this week or even maybe tomorrow.
Well,
we are going to run for other parties.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have thanks our viewers for staying with us until this time. God bless you all.
It's your boy, I give him that thing. Pancho legs stand and punchy America. Banyi door, ban pancho legs stand and punchy America. Banyi door, ban walk on your leg. Kankara watana watching. Oga leg gear, wow, garay leg. Panda with ya, punchy America. Banyi door, ban chingatonga pandon kujura by a cheka. Papu panda juru, what ya be. Panchi America, Panji Dwala, Panapan Panta Legacy.